Hello everyone, this is day 12 of 69 days of code. My name is Rajat Upadhyay and today we are going to look into yet another interesting topic in software engineering, which is called SQL joins. So what SQL joins are, when do we use them, how do we use them? We're going to answer all of these questions today. And even before answering any of those questions, I would like you to ask yourself a question, and that question is why? Why do I need to study SQL joins, right? I already know SQL queries, I know subqueries, I know how to create databases and tables and everything. I know how to create primary key attributes along different tables, and I know how to connect these tables with foreign key attributes. So why do I need to study SQL joins? What is inside SQL joins that makes it so studyable, right? Or so why do I need to invest my time in studying something like that? So I'm going to give you two reasons over here. Okay. Number one reason is it is asked in interviews. So if you are sitting for interviews for software engineering roles, for full stack developer roles, backend developer roles, anything related to databases, anything related to data engineering, data science, data analysis, anything remotely connected to SQL, right? Most probably you are going to be asked the questions on SQL joins, and those questions will not be very simple, easy questions. They will be a little bit complicated. Okay. And if this reason is not enough for you, let me give you another reason, the kind of reasons that I like. And that reason is that it is useful in real life implementation as well. So that is another reason. If you are connecting with databases, if you're doing something in databases, okay, and you have multiple tables and your tables are connecting over each other, or if you need to fetch some data from multiple tables, right? SQL joins are very, very important for that purpose. Okay, and I mean very, very important. Okay, so SQL joins are important for that purpose, and we're going to look into SQL joins today. What it will help you to do is it will help you to create minimal and you can say minimalistic queries. Okay, instead of writing complex multiple queries over various operations, you can just write all of them in one query. Okay, and using joins, and it will be very helpful for you in short-term and long-term purposes as well. Okay, so enough of talking. Let's get started. So what we are going to do today is we are going to create a database for ourselves. Okay, and we are going to create two tables. One table is going to be the employee table. The second table is going to be the department table. And we're going to study how SQL joins apply on multiple tables and how we can use it to create better queries for ourselves and excel in interviews. Okay, so let me share my screen. So I guess all of you are already aware of what this is. This is Mysql Workbench. Okay, this is a software where you can write SQL queries. You can connect to your databases, right? You can just go to home, okay, and you can connect to various databases from here. Just click on this connection 1+, okay, and create your and connect to your database. If you need to know how to connect to your database, you will have to find some other video on YouTube, okay. But what this Mysql Workbench is, this is a UI layer for connecting to your databases without using terminal, okay, without using any terminal or anything else, right? So let's look into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new database right now. Okay, I'll call it create database 69 DOC, right? So let's call it 69 DOC. I'm going to run this. Awesome stuff. You can see a tick over here in green color. That means the query was run. Okay. Now let's create a new table. Okay. So create table. And I'm going to call it department. And I will need to give it the database in which I want to create the table. So 69 DOC is the database I want to create the table in, and the table is department. Okay. And now I'll need to specify the columns that I need inside that table. So let's call it ID, okay, DID, which means department ID, which will be an integer. It will be a primary key, right? And it cannot be null. Then there will be a department name. So let's say D name, and it will be a varchar of 255. And finally, there will be, you can say, department name, let's say department location, or you can say department head or something like that, okay? I'm going to call it department location. Okay, let's say where the department is located. Okay, let's say on which floor it is located, right? So let's say there is a building, and on which floor is the department located, and it will be an integer. Okay, now let me run this query. So I'm going to highlight this query. I want to run this one, and I'll run it. Again, you can see a tick over here, so it has successfully passed. Let me just copy it and paste it over here and create an employee one. So employee. So instead of DID, I'll have an EID, employee ID. Again, it will be an integer. It is going to be a primary key. It will be not null. Okay, there will be an employee name, e name. Okay, and then there will be an employee department dep. Okay, so this will contain the ID of the department in which the employee is working. For example, the ID of the department, HR department, is 1. Then a person who is working inside the HR department will have an edep of 1. Okay, so it is sort of a foreign key relationship, right? Although we have not like specifically specified over here that it is a foreign key relationship, we are just considering that this is going to be a foreign key. This edep contains the department ID of the department in which that employee is working, right? So I'm going to run this. This is very simple, just a very simple database, right? Department and employee database. I think if you have studied SQL, if you have studied database management systems, you already know about these sort of things. And school databases and department databases, or you can say e-commerce databases. You may have already done them in your practices, or if you're not done them, no need to worry. It's very simple SQL, right? So what we are going to do right now is I'm going to insert some data inside of it since we don't have any data. So I'm going to say insert into 69doc.department. Okay, and I'm going to insert the values. Let's say department ID 1. Okay, department is HR department. All right, and the department location is, let's say, third floor. Okay, let's say third floor. So let's run it. Awesome, done. I'll copy this, paste it 2 more times. I'm going to create 2 more departments. Department 2, which is the IT department, its floor is 2nd, and department 3, which is the sales department, and its floor is 1. Okay, and I'm going to run this. Very simple. Insert values have been inserted. Let's query the database. I'll just select star from 69 doc.department, right? Run it. The data is over there, right? So it's very simple, nothing complicated, right? Let's copy these 3 rows and paste it down below. And instead of department, this time we are going to say the employee. So I'm going to paste employee. We'll need an employee ID. 1, 2, 3 employee ID is okay. Employee name, let's say Priyank. Second name Aradhna. Third name Sarthak. Okay. And employee department in which the employee is working. So we'll need to put here the department number, right? You can say the department ID. So let's say Priyank is working in HR department, Aradhna is working in HR department, Sarthak is working in IT department. There is no one working in sales department, right? Very simple. That's right. Simple, right? So let's run it again. Now let's query the database for the employee table. Okay. So let's query the database for the employee table. Select star from 69doc.employee. And we get here our database, right? So these 2 people are working in department of ID 1, and this person is working in department of ID 2, right? So if you need to do this, if you need to take a break over here, if you need to create your own database, follow along with it. If you want to refresh your SQL before we move forward, you can do that. So you can just, stop the video, pause the video right now and do this if you want to, and then we'll start with the real topic, which is SQL joins, and see how these tables are going to connect and give us queries after joining. Okay, so we are back again over here. The point that we left off was creating the tables and inserting data into it. So let's query this table, department table, search for it. And we're going to see 3 departments, HR, IT, and sales, right? And we're going to query this as well, employees. And we can see that for each employee, there is a particular department. Now, what if I want to find out the employees that are working in, or let's say I want to find out the count of employees who are in the first department, right? So now, let's do one thing. Let's do this, that the names of the departments along with their employee names, right? So right now over here, I have edep, which is, so this example that I've given, this is a very basic example, so that's why I'm taking it. What we are going to do is we're going to display the name of the employee and the name of the department. Right now we have the ID of the department, not the name of the department, right? So what we want is, we want to combine these 2 tables and we want to get the name of the department as well. So how do we do joins? So join is basically combining 2 tables, right? Just like we looked into it, combining 2 tables and then outputting the data as we want. So let's do that. Let's say select, and I'll say select, let's say our E name, which is employee name, right? Employee name, comma, D name, which is the department name. D name from 69 doc employee table join. Here we are joining this table with another table, 69 doc dot department table, where E name dot DID is equals to E name, oh sorry, EDEP, right? EDEP is equals to DID, right? So 69 doc dot employee dot EID, right? If you look at here, EID is equals to 69 doc dot department dot DID, right? If you search it, what should happen? These two tables should combine and we should get the name of the employee and the name of the department, where the employee's department number matches the department's department number, right? This is kind of confusing, I know, but you will see the just now. And you can see that these three people are in these three departments, right? So if you look over here, Priyanka is department number 1, right? So department number 1 is HR, good. Aradhana, department number 1. Okay, we have a problem here. This person had the department number 1, but here it is showing as IT department, but the department was HR department. So what went wrong that we are going to get, that we are getting this data, right? So what went wrong over here? Probably you have figured it out already, but let me tell you. Employee EID, we are comparing the employee ID instead of the employee's department ID, right? So we have to say EDEP instead of EID, right? So that was a typo, that was a problem over there, right? Let's search it again. And this time we get the right data. These two people are in the HR and this third person is in the IT department, and there is no person in the sales department, right? So this is how you can do joins, which will combine two tables, right? And it is going to give you the final data. Now there are different type of joins. This is very simple. Okay, I hope you understood this. Okay, if not, I'm going to provide some links inside the GitHub repo from where I studied it, and it was great. They have provided a very depth insights into joins, which I was not able to explain over here, right? But you can go over there and study from there. There are different type of joins: natural joins, self joins, cross joins, outer join, inner join, left join, right join, which are really great. Okay, so this is very basic about joins, how we combine two tables to get the data that we want. Okay, if you want to study more about joins, check the link for the GitHub repo in the description box. Go to today's, which is day 12's joins folder inside the GitHub repo, and check the readme. You will find some things to study. I'll see you in the next.